here's this video where I used this clip talking about the Kia boys almost a year ago.
3 weeks shit, it's a misdemeanor.
You only do 3 weeks for stealing a car?
Hell yeah, it's a misdemeanor shit.
So is there really no punishment for this?
Hell no. It's the high speed, that's when you get a felony.
How old do you think the average Kia boy is?
12, 11.
12, 11? You know what I was doing when I was 11? I was catching frogs and shit. Uh-oh. Hey, watch this, watch this, watch this.
Yeah, for you people out there who don't know who the Kia boys were, what they did was they figured out, one, they had a YouTube channel, I believe it was taken down, where they were showing kids how to take people's Hyundais and Kias with the end of a USB plug. And it looks like a lot of them, their chickens have come home to roost because they graduated on to bigger and better crimes, like I knew they would.
$500,000, arguing that he's a danger to the public based on the evidence.
I know you're mad. I know you're mad.
Detectives say this video shows robbery suspect Ardrell Davis hanging out the window of a car, openly taunting a victim, while other members of his group steal their Kia minivan. Davis is now charged in a September 19th crime spree, along with Ralphie Manuma, accused of robbing 5 gas stations in less than 2 hours in Bellevue, Burien, Seattle, SeaTac, and Tukwila.
These were brazen, violent, and organized robberies in which the defendant and other subjects used a stolen car for transport from gas station to gas station.
Court documents describe the group's violent approach. In Bellevue, a Shell employee said 4 armed robbers surrounded him while he was spraying down the gas pumps outside, yelling, "Inside, inside, I'll shoot you." They took tobacco products and cash, and when he couldn't open a second register, police say Manuma hit him.
In one of the robberies, a clerk was pistol-whipped.
The group's also accused of taking $50 from this person's pocket at a Seattle 7-Eleven. Security video shows robbers driving the same stolen car and wearing the same clothing at multiple locations, including a pair of distinct red pants with boondocks printed down the side. In court, Davis's attorney and mom asked the judge to release him on home detention.
His mom is a corrections officer, and she's been a corrections officer for 6 years. She is here and would like to briefly speak on his behalf.
I work here literally right across the street from the courthouse and would definitely make sure that he doesn't miss any court dates. My son really is not a violent person, and he never has been charged with any crimes of violence or anything at all, and I just hope the court can take that into account.
Prosecutors argued he's dangerous, also accusing him of calling his girlfriend from jail to ask her to destroy evidence. The judge kept bail at $500,000.
Oh no. Oh no, I don't care you're a corrections officer, lady. I don't care. You can't give leniency to these kids, because if they give leniency to your kid, can you imagine what that starts? Now, the judge was right to keep the bail at $500,000, because if you give leniency to a corrections officer's son, where she's saying my kid won't do this, he won't do that, he shouldn't have been doing that in the first place. But let's talk about it. It's not all her fault. What has happened in society is we do have a lack of fathers in a lot of our young men's lives, especially the men of color. We have a lack of fathers. This is why I started my channel, to be a big brother, to be a mentor, to be a father figure. I really tried to add value. I never tried to give you the quick plays of the day. I never tried to sell you any bullcrap. I try to tell you how life really is. And now her son is facing some real time. Ladies and gentlemen, crimes, they end up developing. They progress. They go higher. This is why I try to tell a lot of the people up here that are black, that are white, that are Hispanic, if you're living in the inner city ghettos, inner city hoods, you know what the hoods are, okay? The liquor stores outnumber the churches. There's a fried chicken joint and a liquor store and a bodega on every corner, all right? When you call law enforcement, there's no street signs and they ride past the street. This is why I've said it's important to get your kids to better areas. When you're in better areas, you'll always have crime no matter where you go. But the crimes are less extent as the way they are in the inner cities. You're less likely to fall prey to gang violence. You're less likely to follow the crowd. You're less likely to do a lot of this stuff. growing up in the suburbs, man, we caught like salamanders and tadpoles. I mean, we really didn't cause a lot of mischief. We did ring and run. Who remembers ring and run? The doorbell ditch. We used to do stuff like that. We didn't knock over little old ladies for their stuff. We didn't take people's stuff. We didn't take people's cars. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll have more opportunities when you're in better areas. I grew up in some of the worst areas of New Jersey. We struggled in the beginning. And then my family moved me to the suburbs, and I never experienced some of the things I experienced. I would be in some of these little white kids' houses. Now, I'm not saying that you got to pick white areas to move to, but I'm saying a lot of these inner suburbs, it's not about living white. It's about living right. I started to learn about different things, even though I didn't graduate high school, because college just wasn't my thing. I didn't want to go to school. I wanted to make money. I wanted to go in the labor force. I knew my dad made great money being a longshoreman, so I knew eventually I could go do that. But I liked being on the road, driving trucks, working with my hands, putting stuff together. I didn't want to be in no classroom. I'll be honest with you. I can't even make excuses. I didn't want to be in the classroom. I just didn't want to be there. But my mind was out there with those kicker solo barracks. I had to go to work to get me some kicker solo barracks, a Rockford Fosgate 2400 watt amp. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want. I want to be chilling. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with myself. We're all about accountability. But when I moved to these areas, I start seeing things that I never ever saw. High school kids walking around with Dartmouth University, Rutgers University, Princeton University. I never seen that in the hood. These kids in grammar school was already figuring out and already thinking about what colleges they wanted to go to. And I never forget my father when he sat me down, and him and my mom, they split up when I was about 14, 15 years old. But they worked on being mentors to me and being in my life. And I had a big brother. And this is why I try to be a big brother and a father figure to a lot of you guys. What my father told me was, he said, Larry, you're young. You're going to get into trouble. You're going to skin your knees up. You're going to break windows. You're going to get into a little bit of mischief. But he looked me right in my eyes and he said, if I ever hear you knocking over a little old lady or you knocking over anybody for their money, for their valuables, if you out here taking anybody's property, he looked me right in my eyes and said, I'm going to hang my foot right in your ass. And if I can't do it, if you get too big, I'll call your uncles up from the South and we'll jump your ass. I never forget he said that to me. Yo, my dad, anybody with somebody from the South as a parent, they do not play, yo. They're like the most manliest men, but my dad drinks Schaefer. Yeah, I don't drink, but my dad drinks Schaefer and Pabst Blue Ribbon. And if they don't have that, he'll drink a Bud. Not a Bud Light. He'll drink a Bud, a Schaefer, or a Pabst Blue Ribbon. Some of you might not even know what that is. That's not mainstream beer. Let's just say that. My dad is old school. And he might have some moonshine with a cherry or a peach dropped in it in a mason jar. That's how my daddy is from the South, okay? Now, he told me that. And that was the best thing that he could have ever did. I don't have a criminal record. A lot of you may know, I had a DUI in my 20s, but I don't have a criminal record. I've never been arrested. I don't have any of that because I had a mentor to help me. And this is why it's important, where the moral of this story is Black Lives Matter ain't gonna save you. I can't save you. I hate when people say, oh, I'm the coach. I can write up the play and you got to run the ball. Nah, I'm not the coach. You're the coach. You're the owner. You're the general manager. You're the coach. You're the player. You're the cheerleader. You're the fan of your team. You got to make sure that they're doing well. I can't do it for you. I can only tell you my story on how I made it out and give you some dreams and inspirations on how you can make it out. I don't want to see you or your kids end up like this kid who's facing time, and he will get time, or his mother who works in the corrections officer, who works as a corrections officer in the law enforcement field, and her own kid is in jail. I don't want to see you guys end up like that. No regrets. Get it.